Hope everyone's feeling well. Nice little day two action from the day one. Um, you guys know the drill. Read the disclosure. Let me tell Mike it's coming. Recap coming. I have a webinar at 4:20, so I gotta kind of hustle here. There you go. There you go. My name is Scott Redler, Chief Strategic Officer of T3Live.com. Welcome to today's recap and look ahead. So at this point, yesterday was a little bit of a head scratcher, right? It came in. I guess it wasn't a head scratcher. It was just, it's hard to see when you have this happen on Friday. But again, Credit Suisse wasn't a big problem. Putin didn't do anything, and then all of a sudden, market trapped a bunch of shorts, and some people wanted to get in long, and then you had new monthly flows, and that happened. So yesterday you had to decide, will you be taking some longs home? So I took like 4, and so hopefully some of you guys did. Some guys like, well, how could you do it again? Look at this candle, what happened? 2 days after, everyone got bagged. Why would you do it again? I'm like, well, I don't like to correlate trading to blackjack. I'm like, but there are hands that you're supposed to do. Whether it works one time or doesn't work another time. Whenever you're playing blackjack and you have an 11 versus 6, if you play blackjack, that's a hand you're supposed to double down. Chances are you get a face card and then you have 21, and then if you don't, maybe he has a face card and has 16 and he could bust. So you have a bunch of different ways to win. So usually on a day like this, you take home some long. If you're down a little bit, you could buy some to go green, and you have 2 ways to, or if you're up, you make some money. So 2 ways to make money versus usually not. And then so here, I was thinking the same thing. This time, that boom. So now what? You have a really nice gap here, okay? This gap, we'll see, does it hold? Does it get defended? Wound up today went as high as what? 378. And we'll see. Tomorrow, maybe we gap up, or if we're down a little bit, we'll probably be even a little healthier. A little sideways action. Here's a 21-day moving average. I'm kind of thinking we can get a little bit of a move. Like right now, you had 2 different pieces of news that were weaker than the market anticipated, which kind of helps the Fed not have to, do 75 in November. So that kind of is helping the equity market. You also had the dollar weaker than stronger. And if you remember right here, we pointed that out. Right here, the bearish engulfing bar, that kind of took the pressure off. Okay, now the question is, where will it bounce? Maybe tomorrow you get some kind of red dog reversal base to just fill this gap, and here's your 50-day below. So dollar weakness helped equities. TLT, bouncing into the trend line versus yields going through. The dot plot that was at 4.5% and was dislocated when we shorted some of these puts, if you remember, for a bounce, is now back in line, and and here you are. Okay, so question is like, how long do you need to be? Or it all depends on your time frame. Like here, we posted, here's the alpha team, so that's what I'm in. I'm in some things that I want to engage, some things that I want to massage. I'm not as long size-wise as I was last night, but I have a few more positions, which is fine. I also sold some premium at the end of the day when the SPYs had that little ramp up. I sold some 380s for tomorrow for like $1.20. So that's like my way of being hedged. So instead of shorting the SPYs with my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 8 longs, I shorted some premium higher. So if we're just flattish tomorrow, I keep the premium. If we're 380 tomorrow, I keep the premium. If we're above 380 tomorrow, then I get short. That's how it works when you short premium above. And I also shorted some 382s into the ramp up after hours. And then I had too many short. So I'm like, let me buy a little bit of SPYs back into the close. So it's like having covered calls. So if we gap up $2, I'll make money there, and then I'll figure out if I want to convert into a short, but then I'll also, be doing decent on that. So that's kind of like the thought process there. Everything kind of looks very similar. Nothing is so great. Nothing, it had upper level flags ready to break out. Everything was more like, where are we at lower level, and where could they go, and how could you measure it? So a few of them, Microsoft had a better bounce. I didn't play it. went through the 21 days. So some things are through the 21 day and some things aren't. Does that mean some things will play catch up, or that means some things should be stronger than others? It's hard to guess. All you know is, again, this is the gap. How much of this holds? Can it go sideways and continue? Okay, that's the thought process here. Amazon, also off, but some things are close to the highs and not. Some things, had a push in the beginning and then didn't stay. So not everything was created equal. But again, all these things have gaps to trade with. If it holds the gap, shows some commitment, maybe you could stay with it, starts to fill the gap, you got to be careful. Google, decent gap here. So Google actually, was one of the ones that was more oversold. So, that has some room there. That looks, decent. So all these things, again, not so crazy, just it is what it is. It's, you have this oversold bounce, and we'll see how far it's going to go. Does this gap hold? Does it go to 102.50, or does it go to where it broke down from? We'll see. So all those names I made new lows in the last week and a half gave a trade. Okay, a reversal trade yesterday, gap up today, some better than others. Now we see if we can continue. I am still in Meta. Meta wasn't great at all. I had more last night, and we'll see if it starts to wake up a little bit tomorrow. It's going to give it a very short leash. If all of a sudden Meta goes below this little spot here, I'll probably be out. Sometimes Meta likes to go in, the day after, whatever. This is 39.34.
Multiple transactions and profitable HVAC. R and markets, that's probably sending.
So, I'm going to just go through what I have, because I have to. And then, so 139.34, maybe it goes sideways and sees 144. NVIDIA was a great overnight. Okay, closed pretty well. So I think we could get to that 134 or more. So I'm still in the video. Micron was strong all day. As I said, Micron might give some clues of a bounce. Doesn't mean it's a crazy bounce. Doesn't mean it's like so compelling, but it went up on not great guidance, so right there, gives some clues that you can get an oversold bounce. So I'm in NVIDIA. I feel like I don't need to be in NVIDIA and AMD, so I'm in NVIDIA instead of AMD. I'm in Meta, not in Google. And then I'm in Apple. Apple I bought on the dip today, thinking, hey, Apple perhaps, did its thing where it went from, special to, to downside catch up back to, in line. So I feel a little safer with Apple that, I could buy versus gap, go sideways, and at some point maybe it takes that out to see 148.50. So that's why I'm in Apple. Tesla was in, I got stopped out. I don't feel like being in Tesla. Just too much of a battleground. I just have a dislocation in my head of like, is this, is Elon too stretched? Is he going to buy it and hand it off? What's going to happen? Blah, blah, blah. So, like, you know what? I'm just going to stay away from it. I made some good money in the beginning of the day, and then I've kind of rolled over. Pins I'm in, kind of like it. Closed pretty well. Held in there well, during the whole correction phase above the moving averages. So something I feel like I could massage. Snap I went with today also. Very, very, very broken, but I figured, 18 billion in market cap. Twitter got taken over at 40. Maybe people see some value there, considering, look where this thing came from. So I feel like risk reward, not so bad, right? If you get out there, why not, take a little, little taste down there. DraftKings also something a little different. Kind of had that little. This is the weekly had a little move up, and feel like, kind of low risk. Something different than an Apple. Here's a little gap up. Here's your downtrends. I remember playing it pretty well into this. Some calls were going off, so I went with it. All right. So with that being said, I'm short some premium for tomorrow as my hedge, and I do have a bunch of positions on, not huge. We'll see what tomorrow brings. I created a call spread also for the calls that I had on from yesterday that worked well, and I still have some straight calls on for Friday, but I sold a portion of those. I'll be in tomorrow, but I'm going to be very quiet. It's the holiday. I'm going to go to the Kol Nidre tonight. I'm going to have my meal. I'm going to fast tomorrow. I'm not going to temple tomorrow, so I will come in and massage some things and do a bunch of little things that we need to do in order to, continue to manage this. Sorry for being so brief, but I got to jump. If you're, fasting, have an easy fast, and I'll see you guys in the morning. Later, guys.